People often say your greatest enemy is the one you never see coming. Mine wasn't a stranger. She wasn't a jealous colleague, an ex-lover, or even a member of my husband's family. She was my identical twin sister. We shared a womb. We shared a birthday. We shared the same face. Growing up, people struggled to tell us apart. Even our parents occasionally called us by the wrong names. We were inseparable. We attended the same schools from nursery through university, sat beside each other in class, and knew every secret the other tried to hide. People admired our bond. They called us the perfect twins. We laughed at that description because we believed it too. Sometimes we switched places just for fun. If one of us was too tired to attend an event, the other would go. It became our private joke. If we ever decided to exchange lives permanently, my sister once laughed, no one would ever know. Neither of us knew that one day she would stop joking about it. After university, our careers took different paths. She accepted a job in another city while I remained where I had secured employment. Distance never changed our relationship. We celebrated birthdays together, we traveled together, and we remained each other's closest friend. By God's grace, life was kind to both of us. I worked tirelessly, invested wisely, and long before I met my husband, I had acquired several properties. My sister celebrated every success with me, or so I believed. A few years later, I met a wonderful man. He was calm, intelligent, respectful, and patient. He never seemed interested in my money. That alone made me trust him. We dated for 2 years before getting married. Our wedding was beautiful. My sister stood proudly beside me as my maid of honor. She cried throughout the ceremony. Everyone believed they were tears of joy, including me. After our wedding, my husband moved into the beautiful house I had bought years earlier. Marriage, to me, was never about keeping score. I trusted him with everything. If I signed documents, I trusted him. If he handled financial matters, I never questioned him. Trust was the foundation of our marriage. At least, that's what I thought. The first year was wonderful. Then we decided it was time to have children. The first pregnancy filled our home with excitement. My sister flew in to celebrate. Then, barely 3 months later, I started bleeding. Hours later, I lost the pregnancy. Nothing prepares a woman for that pain. You don't mourn an idea. You mourn a child. My husband held me while I cried. He assured me everything would be all right. Months later, I conceived again. This time we were more careful. Again, I lost the baby. The third miscarriage nearly destroyed me. The fourth left me emotionally numb. By the fifth, I no longer celebrated positive pregnancy tests. I feared them. Eventually, my doctor requested specialized tests. His voice was gentle. I wish I had better news. My uterus had complications that made sustaining pregnancies extremely difficult. I nodded while pretending to be strong. Inside, everything collapsed. My husband reminded me that children did not define our marriage. But after months became years, something changed. He wasn't abusive. He simply became emotionally unavailable. He spent longer hours at work. Dinner conversations became shorter. The warmth in our marriage slowly disappeared. Silence replaced laughter. I blamed myself. One evening, he suggested I take some time away. Go spend a few weeks with your sister, he said. It sounded reasonable. My sister welcomed me warmly. For days she simply listened. I cried, she listened. I questioned God, she listened. One night, she held my hands and said quietly, I think I know a way out. She explained that there was a young woman facing an unwanted pregnancy who wanted to find a stable family for her child. My sister believed we could help each other. The arrangement sounded unusual, risky, but also possible. We'll simply announce that you're expecting, she said. You'll travel abroad for care. When the baby is born, you'll return. I discussed everything with my husband. To my surprise, he agreed almost immediately. In fact, he seemed more excited than I expected. For the first time in years, I smiled without forcing it. Lawyers prepared the documents. Months later, we traveled to Canada. Life abroad settled into a routine. I accompanied her to appointments, prepared healthy meals, and read parenting books. I imagined finally hearing someone call me mommy. Those months healed parts of me. For the first time in years, my heart felt light. Then, something changed. Around the 6th month, I realized my sister had become strangely unavailable. Our daily phone calls stopped. Messages went unanswered. Sometimes the phone rang. Sometimes it went to voicemail. When I finally reached my husband, he sounded unusually relaxed. I haven't seen her in a while, he said. Something about his voice bothered me. A woman's intuition is difficult to ignore. I contacted trusted friends back home. Several people mentioned seeing my husband and my sister together. Restaurants. Shopping malls. I laughed it off. Their family, I told myself. Still, the discomfort remained. Eventually, I reached someone who informed me that every staff member had been dismissed. The cook, the cleaner, everyone except the gatekeeper and the driver. When I questioned my husband, he said he was reducing expenses. As my due date approached, he repeatedly postponed his trip. The baby finally arrived. When the nurse placed the child into my arms, every tear felt worth enduring. I became a mother. I waited for my husband. He never came. After nearly 2 months, I decided to return home quietly. I told no one, not even my husband. I wanted to surprise him. Instead, I became the one who was shocked. My heart began beating faster as I carried my baby inside. Sitting comfortably on my sofa was my identical twin sister. She was heavily pregnant. She wasn't merely wearing clothes similar to mine. She wore my favorite designer outfit. My wedding ring rested proudly on her finger. She wore my perfume, my hairstyle, even my slippers. Then my husband walked downstairs. He wasn't shocked. He simply looked at me calmly, as though he had expected this moment. Every photograph had been replaced. My sister was in every frame. My husband finally spoke. He admitted everything. They had grown close after I traveled. Their friendship became emotional, then romantic. Eventually, they fell in love. My sister didn't apologize. She stood silently beside him. A few days later, my lawyer delivered more devastating news. While I was abroad, company records had been altered. Properties had changed hands. Signatures bearing my name appeared on legal documents. Some had been forged. The greatest shock came when my lawyer explained I no longer had immediate possession of my own home. Standing outside those gates, security personnel informed me I could not enter. I stood there holding my child, homeless. The legal battle lasted years. It drained money, energy, and time. But slowly, truth emerged. Forensic experts exposed forged signatures. Electronic records revealed unauthorized access. The deception began collapsing. No court judgment could restore my marriage. None could restore my relationship with my sister. Eventually, I rebuilt. Not because it was easy, but because my child deserved a mother who chose healing over bitterness. Forgiveness came slowly. Not because they deserved it, but because I deserved peace. I still miss the sister who shared my birthday. The little girl who laughed with me until midnight. That sister no longer exists. Betrayal is not simply someone lying to you. It is trusting someone so completely that you never imagine they are capable of hurting you. Strangers can only take what they can see. The people closest to you know exactly where to strike. Blood is not always thicker than water. Sometimes the deepest wounds are inflicted by the people who know your heartbeat better than anyone else. Imagine standing before a mirror only to discover the reflection smiling back is the person who destroyed your life.